Apoio matek, meio na que o na biblioteca, meio que catalogar né por parte de lá kan, one que lá que foundation, tete la one nyasi na lá yusa mo duri bi, adum one nyasi o kwa ni miero, e lokere lwa mela, tinene unbeo ibotu unjome press. Donc press conference on nyasi melang enamo yo mechwa lo ngej apire tek bolwak melang amago tekwar melang kre tela me tekwar melang kre jome me tiatimere na machel wanu lungu kan ijame ario apiritek kop na machiel ame wanu lungu ye ena ye me chwalo ngej o boru ni manno lao ka to foundation o ka to kere nying dulla bo yera ame gine na me binu yiko yera me aberi de ma para chiel pieni electoral commission Amerik won nyasu kerchon mai ko yera peo bino lobo chik amite temme yo won nyasi melan yo chama durbe kwanyo kare mai joko tijio ko donc tinene wano katto krenyen dula bo yera anyen amen ngatame bino tello dula lo yera obedo retired colonel dan opiro odwe enana me bino bedo wan kom medula boyera melan ka ci foundation na mario denis queer jaramogi ename binu bera lo wan kom medula loyera na madek tony ungar ame bera tehere me nomo en yai uyam enana binu bero aran me electoral commission na mangwen mole akelo me tehere me mo tiratok e member charles ojoko ngom ame bera tehere me okiamat bere member charles ojoko ngom tikina langi anu nok ame won nyasi me la ka ci foundation obino chimo gi me tello choyo pensik me la ka ci foundation 2017 monno jamina machiel apirtek me wano lu yenno donc jo ame ana kwano nyingino gine na binu managing comme electoral commission ame abero comme election ame abero idwe ma para chiel poyoni wano ti comme transition nyo lokotela ame kamir wano lokotela ngurne dula lo yera mir bedatie maye ko yera won nyasa nyen ame abero idwe ma para chiel kire me yera beru kite yera beru adal safre nyo jo dushu langi dushu abolokui langi mo hagetia para boro I wot kere malo gine na me abolokui wana charo la ka ci foundation otamu ni langi dushu bet kere twero e yer won nyasi pi gengu rushu ame beratie pieno koni o witong kiken ename yer won nyasi do wanre nu ngoni ka o witong ename yer won nyasi kelu rushu miu langu kene pe beru kere miri me chwa ko te kwarwi kere chwa ko won nyasi ame yer donc pi manno jo ame obinu chopen chik me la ka ci foundation te katoka na le te koni me joko rushu kere wo I koppe la ka ci foundation kere tela me la ka ci foundation miero langi du bolkui donc monno mio I be ma para ciel langi dushu ametie kabera popat I la kan kere jo ati ho dang binu bolkui me yer won nyasi me ario comme me ario mi walu ena ye koppa metia ya iboto mewa ame ginutie I la cultural institution ame gintia ko boni manno pedong gino binu yeyi jo moro melok ilao kan a chialo tela mete kwar antam ni manno beru leg medicine ame miero langinge na machiel wano pate gino beri rionget me lao cultural institution wano beri rionget me lao cultural foundation lao cultural foundation o chagere yi ma tutumi rio adek ame atela mero beru yusamu duri bi Lango Cultural Institution o chagere 2016 ame atela mere ubedo engineer Mike Odon Kune speaker mere ubedo Willow Modu speaker mere Lango Cultural Foundation ubedo dila so apoka tie comme organisation mete kwa ame ti Lango kan so ame Lango Cultural Institution premier tam ni one Lango Cultural Foundation premier operating Mario one Lango Cultural Foundation one me be sitting government one me ti mandated me yiko yera me Lango ame luak abolo kurie de ma para kelle bien Lango Cultural Institution gino be faction gina na ta running organization gi actually faction donc a faction per ramu golord about the sitting government ni gin miro pe koloro dan pe miro operating ata manu pe beru gina mati na mario won nyasi mela yu chamu duri bi enna me podu beru the sitting won nyasi mela kere cabinetere kere councilere amen murune yu chamu duri bi kere councilere binu tik naka idwe ma para kiel ka yera do beratie e ka duong teme yudong twero metera bot ngata me lao yer aduong won nyada won ma chomi blessing ere nyu lao bot a witan kiel kun ko beni en mir wot bot mego mere kede langi memi ye chwa ka lao yere ko porpe eto kadi bedi eno mi lao pe nguro ne o geno jokene me binu nyuto mirige man mir be very clear eto en o mi lao bot ambassador Dixon Ogwangokul ame obera witang me para kyol eto yere me abiri ma para chelle pe giro gayo ngatoro ame amito chung ata monu mir be very clear donga mito chwallo akwenya kin bot Lango Cultural Institution ni me achiel gin miro mak tiki gin miro mak tello irionget gi gin miro wek Lango Cultural Foundation chunga pire kita medang Lango Cultural Foundation chunga pire kere ya yom ni manno election ame obino bedo idwe ma de kini ndo achiel election cha Lango Cultural Foundation eno yiho election cha faction na engineer do mo yukune ame tia tele faction me Lango Cultural Institution ene na me oyobo yera cha ame mirini ngeni the sitting government ena me yiho yera pe rebels pe yiho yera for example kona miwa por itami kiza besije kere FDC very ko yera me Uganda gini yiho ka yera me parti gi me FDC donc pimanno odon kune kede wichere o yera me factionnaire ame enna da obera tela mere chako jon speaker me da obera tie chako jon ame monno apora mor peye ikita chwan chon gino operating kere gino dok kitanu gino tikere so Lango Cultural Foundation dang tie don kita me gin rik tikere ame won nyasi ubero yusamo duri bi organization gi odoni Cultural Foundation so man langi mirunge apora donc amito twalo kop bot luak mela kedo witang ni manno pemiro win bora moroken ametia ya Lango Cultural Institution ama ko te kwaro mela ko tela mete kwaro mela tiene Lango Cultural Foundation tiu chumi king abon lere abon tagere Lango Cultural Foundation tiene no ka nyim me ko yera medwe ma para kiel oba me bolo konyu atikan kede o witang akiele yober former prime minister Dr. Richard Nam amena binukop Dr. Loro Shen witong me okaru wi biachiel da doka mitam bodwon nyasi binuko tikere ambassador Dixon Ogwangokul witong me para jol minister me foreign affairs keringata won nyasi mi blessing enang binuko apoyu
abedo ri prime minister me Lango Cultural Foundation mwakabiro in fact kadonga ko history anado obedi prime minister medong obedi locho do law prime minister dushu amabedi now amenyuruni jamba maberu titima wanti ularo dushu o timere kara anti loch amidi kwa chaku ikobi kom chik me 2017 chike 2017 uberu chika now Pini kara me ruju moro ko beri 2012 actually. Ame prime minister maluti karisha. Te resigning on kwa nyimu witong. Jote keta 2013. Conflict no tek kapemetu. Ento wana chala witong ote bel lo ya kina wa ken wa ero to would be do I karuma in 2015 ote wo nyamo lo ya kina wa no witong nuti wan mi che le pier ngena bon medra engineer micro don kuna nuti dan ote do nyukede gina me wana luni karuma peace agreement na me wana to do nyukede wana witong itu shumie che le pier ngena bon ote ko boka ko wario to ko gina tie wana witong elao ope chik gina mi ruju ti lao pieno pe chik ame warom mi won ya se yo samo duri bi meti kere gina mi ruju ti eni no a witong teta me timingo pira nu ti achungi won ya se I choka na o witong te do jita me gina tie ba ti chiga me jo chucho elao kana pol la titino won ya se mi kwanya group of people commissioners would bet ping terarao taka chiga me jojo choy launi duch otari bokara shell otengi ye otodonyu ke draft ka odonyu gini ke draft otewori law long launi duch langmi tamgi yati teni jona timoti chaber yote wori law to mi tamgi law to donyi chigi me 2017 ame nyuri chike 2017 ubero chika lao ame lao tikeri twere ye dang pe guda tata ka pe yini pe yutamala so ikara bedo chiki donyo ana chalo prime minister ka to tank pien chik duje yini tikere pe mire go wiye kere me agamente atete no processes duch would both solicitor general so le jeno ta kwano gindi kedi timere to ko kwanya na rejo to dugu chen to ikabe o te miya advocate woni mbogo ene be ka do ginora gazetting ka government amito gazetting anything by border to gazetting chiko ko o te ke le boto witong 149 ikasu center yote moko chiki amenyuri ngako botieni chike 2017 ero nu bere chik mela dang na chawan ame pengat romo gudu pera ga romo yu ame po consulting la do ka ineno yera me dwe ma dek olo chikene kuni gina bergen to ko chik dai ru yu ko ka ini yu chik nyuri yu la ko pien chik che nu bere ma la ame pengan mana ba chelo bere no kiri kara me gindunga yu chik cha dongi no yera cha ngaru beru won nyashi ameti gazette yu samuduri bi so kayini timu gino pien ko mami ko budi government e kasu institution atia para beere ngeo ka ngara chela ken e kasu institution chela bala bigi wa mela ko no ngeo ka yu samuduri bi peti kantora me romo choyo ginoro ko bu ginoro timu ginoro teter bo government te winyu no way iya choli ker kwara choli uberuka achana ameteka chano donyi gire mere mora meteke to chieye to wo so nyurni idwe ma de ka me jona donyi kere yera gini unya ne peti ngeyo moni legality meta chaka chano ko chorcho pien itimu ginoro amepe mio ngata meti gazette ngata meti twera ungeo aite med gire nyim won gire ko wando yer witong petwer ko boni moni gini tikere twer pier me chiela gin peti gazette government pe ngeogi nyungata ngeogi wani tu bere chiela witong wanu tika me konyo won nyashi pier ngati non tie chiela ke so kayini timu giri moro ame won nyashi po da su sien ye jamo duribu is very legal pier po ngi kere awini gini ko boni pier conflict no tie o wando chi ye wano witong mebe resolving conflict kara me achel mir gino ngeni lanu keri togo tiena di ame gino witong wori nyimi togo hotel lungo one group ame tanwa tie chi lelo bo chi lu matiena di pien kay ni ko ni moni gino tiu medong Quando dong ruju tie, cara ruju pelu wa oniang ruju mera no tie. Mene. Itogo no tie korwa pe woro. Wano kwa itogo ni bindi wa una pe upeda ngo wori. Sakara to ide isaka do yere ruju ngo pien put pe tie ho. Pui woro na rut me ruju. Ayi ti jak ngoyo ko tela gine yera. So monunu pe kame uti mere. Ame manene o mi wa to tamani pe. One we tongue peer and when Namati, Mutieni, one better elders, 1 million to Tino. Piet Cape 1 to Tino Kireme, baby with logo, Kirime low chick, or La Balaco. So me want to go pay 1 logo chick between the 17 and my loud jaw, I to area. Dan chick Joconi Guinea team amendment, Petuarti, Madame pay consulting with Jam Balalao. Kain meeting amendment no kari meeting obedi Margarita obedi Queen amo we talk ni ginde do resolution you do not null and void PNP consulting we jammi mu la so mi giri want you tamani giniene one giri purti right track one me de giri wani na do ma para ciel o to wori yera dan wana mi to testing mi to call testing chi wadi jotia te po you testing wana mi te chi wadi bedi kitu chokere pieno ko ni jwa lock ngi mo hapara me the first amendment of 2027 eta me pura amendment po you te me wan ko mi to testing o mi to testing me achiel chi wani ko mi ngata chumir be 6 years test me na achiel me na mario o te ko ni ka wun ya do ya Nyutwer to atwalo nyutwer ya kado ya langi duju bino ngo bolo kwi. So en kiro donyu kere mirmere pien dana di donyu mirmere kere. Eto wana jale tino mera meti wore. Balan ala chu. Er peni ka chu ngada gomina ni adango nga. Waro chu piere no nyu piere de. Aya wan piere ko di langi na bu wan to wot kuru. Imara to dangare imara to wood to dera to ko ngata me obiri yeri tap watu ko budu ping duj woru do a min wadu yeri dangina ke lu kuchi lawe na chela ken pien kala yeri tela gi kumgi yini nga ame do ringo ni na do beru nyashi pien lawe nu yero gi ko jo uma yeri ya tutumie chela ken Eda mana langa donyo ikui chucho millionaire deki ginor. Kajo bolu kui dushu. So tutumia chele wi millionaire deki mena me yini miri wa. So ana mi ko bani unity no wa me tikan yene. Reporter me uni cha ko me uni cha ka tin ber mir be reporter me google ang ka chele. Angeni jamba polti ati tima chanda man duong jam perti ti ngongani. Et bed ngata me pe balo integrity mere. Pemi bal integrity ni pien purity don. Pemi jog donyu kerta me dan bla bla bla. La ka do ko chele komi. Arrange pe mar donyi yoyot. So ata marigi na me asiche kama mira ko bala samarien. Ni umohuru ni chike 2017 wan tikere da testing. In November one testing. Pien po Robert cho chik man do cho chik do ko lo ko do ko polo ko do ko cho ma digi do ko lo no wan por mo 2017 na ya gi o to nem ki an po you to be so what I'm saying telling you the press is one we the 44 clan leaders who are elders we are saying the constitution of Lango Castle Foundation of 2017 is the one we are following and we want to test in November. 2, although Wunyasa has come up with his opinion, we as brothers among the 44, those who are interested in standing should come out and contest, because we are going to face our people And once we successfully conclude the election, we're going to respect the opinion of our people so that we can eventually maintain peace and tranquility now. And what I'm telling you, advising you, the young ones, is please start practicing very good journalism, reporting. Don't be hooked or lured by forces circulating around. Give you a good reporting, supporting to go. If you see something interesting or which actually brings peace among the two warring factions, please report it positively so that you can encourage others, encourage the community to come together. So this is briefly what I can tell you.
What is your comment on the election?
Which one?
I think the question will come later.
The election.
I think we first go to
Members of the press, my name is Dr. Lorio Chen. I am a Witong, or the clan leader of Okarawokwi BHL. I'm also the special advisor to His Highness Yusa Maduribi, who is the sitting paramount chief or the Wanyashi of Lango. We'll first speak in English and then give a summary of my remarks in Leblanc. First of all, we would like to thank you sincerely for responding to our invitation to have this very important press briefing by members of His Highness Cabinet. This has been long overdue, and we would like to apologize that we could not organize this very important meeting earlier on. But nevertheless, we thank you for coming. I would like to emphasize one or two points mentioned by my brothers, the spokesperson, and then Dr. Richard Nam. First, we are not Lao Cultural Institution. This point must be taken very seriously. We are Lao Cultural Foundation. We are the sitting government. We are the ones supposed to run the affairs of leadership, the affairs of governance, and the direction that Lao culture must take, because we are a legitimate government. So anybody purporting to be the leader or the Wanyashi of Lao at the moment is telling a lie. Why do I say this? I say this because the government, the quasi-government of Engineer Dr. Michael Odonkune seems to be in force already. They're organizing council meetings. They are doing business of their organization, which purportedly is a leading cultural organization in Lao. They're organizing what they call a coronation, which is supposed to be organized by a sitting government. In any case, I would like to make it clear to the press that we don't crown people in Lao. We install cultural leaders. Coronation is a very heavy concept, unless somebody doesn't know the English that is using. We crown traditional leaders, we don't crown cultural leaders. Cultural leaders are installed. They're enthroned. No problem with that. Because this is not an hereditary government. So this is also one area where we want the press to inform the public, to direct the public, and to make sure that the public consumes the correct information. Secondly, you all know very well that by United Nations General Assembly, May 3rd of every year was earmarked to be the World Press Freedom Day. And this is the seriousness with which the civilized global communities look at freedom in its fundamental forms. Any civilized society, whether you are a majority, you can operate as a majority, no problem with that, but you provide safeguards for the minority. So any majority that does not provide safeguards for the minority is a false majority. And I can label the leadership of Engineer Dr. Michael Odonkune as a false majority that is working tooth and nail to oppress the minority. They call us a minority. They use very many epithets and adjectives describing us as a minority. I don't want to go into those big invectives that they use, because we are not here to accuse and counter-accuse. So this therefore means that as members of the press, I know as a human being, all of us have subjective opinions. The moment you have a community or a group where there are more than two people, you can be sure that you're going to have people with subjective opinions. And we should respect that. Even as clan leaders belonging to the 44 cohort, we know that even in our clan there are people who have subjective opinions. That must be respected. But where a clan comes with a council resolution as a government of that clan, that resolution must be respected. But you cannot suppress people's mouth. People who want to individually express their opinions, you don't have to do that. In the same way, we want to encourage good journalism, good press coverage, civilized reporting, so that the dichotomous voices, the voices of the people on the other side and the voices of the people on this side can be heard. This is how we are going to build Uganda on a civilized foundation. Members of the press, you know very well that Engineer Dr. Okune ran a minority government for over 12 years against the government of His Highness Yosam. At that time, he was not harassed, he was not suppressed, he was allowed to operate even when his activities were subversive. His Highness Yosam Aduribi allowed him. Now somebody who enjoyed operating as a rebel during his minority tenure comes in less than 3-4 months, is already galvanizing every brutal forces to suppress an innocent minority. This is wrong. This is not where we want Lango to be. This is not where we want Uganda to be. And again, I have to inform members of the press, we have to inform members of the press that culture is the most important organizing system. A strong culture defines a successful community, a successful nation. A strong culture. A culture that is weak can be penetrated, can be manipulated. But what makes a strong culture are the moral foundations upon which that culture is established. If the election of May 1st was conducted the way in which it was, where there was a roadmap that was issued and the Electoral Commission, the disbanded Electoral Commission, refused to respect the roadmap, they overthrew the Constitution of 2017. They said they did not want any law because they were the majority. And we want that to be a precedent where people do things with impunity, with total disregard to the rule of law. And we think Lao is going to move forward. It's a big job. It's a big job. It will be a precedent which will be quoted time and again. that in the election of 1st May, a group of people overthrew the constitution and we thought, okay, it. So we can as well do the same. This is not what we want to do. We cannot do that. We cannot afford to do that. We must direct society. We are not going to allow a group of people to take Lango back to the state of nature. State of nature was that, period where people, behave like animals. No regard to the law. We cannot go back to the state of nature. We are now a civilized community. So a cultural leader, in our opinion, is supposed to be the moral face of the community. He must be seen not to be corrupt, not to be deceitful, not to be manipulative, not to be patrimonial. Patrimonialism is a practice where a leader uses every available resources to arrest and incarcerate the opinions of people. If you use money to arrest and incarcerate and imprison free thought, that is patrimonialism. This is not what we want for Lango. And we are very serious on this. So the moral sovereignty of Lango people is under attack. And this is what the 44 Owitong want to redirect. And I can assure you that this alliance of Lango Cultural Institution is just an alliance of convenience, because it is based on vain promises, false hopes, which is not going to take Lango anywhere. So we have a whole Ministry of Ethics and Integrity in Uganda that oversees the moral conduct of society. One of the with two moho roadmap. I mean, His Highness Yosamaduri be ukelo hokana lair. Roadmap wana luoni ubino luoni. Langai when we don't Supreme is a lie. The Namaste Supreme will check even Constitution Lango Cultural Foundation 27. There's a line on the covenant. This Constitution shall be supreme. And you're the go. I don't keep covering my money. I keep calling for my money. And chicken never to supreme. Man, over the message of one town, Jobe Press, Mirokoiwa. One town, Nakamabero, a cultural leader, we've been last a man, Chimajo, you are bad. No one will compare. The exact one will be limited pure, just separate, chill. So we don't know, we couldn't walk him around. That's what I point.
Dixon Obangokul, a cultural leader of the clan Roteker Parochol now. I'm the minister responsible for diplomacy and international cooperation in the office of His Highness the Wanyachi, Mzee Yosha Moduribi. I'm a son born and raised in Lango. Went to school from primary to senior 6 in Lango. Then went to Makerere University, where I did Bachelor's of Laws, and in the Law Development Center, where I did my professional trainings in law. I'm also a master's holder from the University of Fairleigh Dickinson in New Jersey, United States of America, where I studied a dual Master's of Administrative Science and a Master of Diplomacy and International Relations. By the time of the break out of the war in the Sudan, I was pursuing my PhD, and my thesis is on how culture influences the development and formation of legal jurisprudence in different societies and nations. I have served my country now for close to 30 years. My first service to government started in the armed forces. then to the Directorate of Public Prosecution, where I served as a prosecutor for 10 years. I have now served in Foreign Service for close to 13 years. I joined Foreign Service on appointment by His Excellency the President as Deputy Ambassador to the United States in Washington, D.C., where I served for 7 years consecutively and was recalled and returned back to headquarters in January 2018. From 2010 November to 2018 January, I served in the United States as Deputy Ambassador to the US, based in Washington, D.C. At the headquarters, I serve our diaspora in the Diaspora Department, which is a department under the Directorate of International Economic Cooperation of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Currently, I am the head of Chancery of the head of administration at the Uganda Mission in the Sudan. Because of the war in Khartoum, we are now based in Port Sudan. I'm a married man with children, boys and girls. Well, most of them are already grown up and working, others are still studying. Why am I giving introduction of myself in this nature? In the recent past, I've experienced severe onslaught by the media and social media, especially from Lango, and I thought people does not know the man called Dixon Ogwangokul, who is a son of Okul Sylvester from Baramindiang in Kole, a year. I thought I should take this opportunity to let you, our members of the press in Lango, to first know me, both physically in face, and also get to know me better as a professional who has actually dedicated his life to the service of his nation for the last 30 years with clean record, never been arrested for any corruption scandal, never been sanctioned for any unlawful activity in all my service in these very important institutions of government. Because of my discipline and good conduct, my own clan chose me to be their leader as a Witong, and I think I'm leading them well. Recently, His Highness the Wonyachi, whom I've served for a long time, stemming back before I joined diplomacy. While I was living in Uganda, I used to help our people organize themselves, and I trained them how to resolve conflict in ways that are peaceful. Because in the post-conflict era of northern Uganda, we were faced with lots of family-related conflict, domestic violence, land-related conflicts that was leading to lots of violent crimes, including threatening violence, assault, manslaughter, and murder. There was a lot of mob justice going on in our community. And I thought people should understand that mob justice is no justice. And I should educate and enlighten our people to avoid engaging in any unlawful activity, thinking they're enforcing discipline, but at the end, they end up becoming criminals themselves. So I started organizing training of local council leaders from LC5 and their council, down to LC3 up to down. Then cultural leaders, where His Highness Ewonyachi and his council would be together in one roof, under one roof, for almost a week, where me and my team would be training them on structured way of resolving conflict in communities. This was from 2005, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. In July 2010, I received an appointment from the president that he wanted me to serve in diplomacy. At that time, I was very busy working with our community here while also serving in Gulu as a prosecutor. But every weekend I would be within our community doing this work. So having worked with His Highness from that time, with other organizations like LEMO, like PAFAD, we are trying to organize community to be a peaceful community focused on social and economic transformation of our people who are suffering from the post-war era after the LRA wars. I came back from the United States and my clan entrusted me as a clan leader, and again His Highness entrusted me as a minister. And of late, very recently, on the 3rd of June 2024, His Highness again called me and asked me to take up the responsibility of becoming his successor. In a ceremony where he gave me his blessings and asked me to come back and present myself to my brothers and the people of Lango to have an elective affirmation of his blessings. This is the reason why the momentum in the Lango Cultural Foundation transition has picked up gear this month of June. Before that, people were moving in blindness. People did not know exactly who is going to be the candidate. I knew there were candidates before, but I was so focused on reconciliation to the extent that at one point I made a public declaration in writing to my brothers Witong and the people of Lango that I will not present myself for candidature for replacement of His Highness the Wonyashi, because I am interested in being a voice of reason, in being a voice that will bring peaceful conciliation to the two factions. I got so much involved, but when the process was hijacked by interests that I saw was not consistent with the principle of conflict conciliation that I've learned and became the first certified conciliator in Africa by the Institute of Christian Conciliation in the United States, I saw that the principle had been collapsed and I could not be a party to such a process. I withdrew and let the process go with other people whom I already saw that they were not just party to the conciliation team. I mean, they were not part of the conciliators, but they already had side that they had taken. And that is not how we do conciliation. When you are a conciliator and you are working as either a mediator or a facilitator, you should remain independent and should not have interest in any side. So when I saw that my colleagues already had interest, I withdrew. And the end result of my withdrawal is what eventually led to the purported elections and the purported kind of situation that is going on. Because the situation went beyond my control, and I withdrew from it, and I kept on doing whatever I'm supposed to do in my community as a cultural leader and in my nation as a foreign service officer. Now, when His Highness called me, because I believe that cultural institutions has got both legal aspects and spiritual aspect. The legal aspect is what we now see, the process of elections and these other processes that we are going through. That has now culminated to the appointment of electoral commissioners and the rest. But the spiritual aspects is like what His Highness the Wonyashi did to me. Identifying one of the sons, imputing blessings on him or her, son or daughter, him or her, and then charging that person with a responsibility. When you have the blessing, then you can move forward. And doesn't prevent you from working with your brothers. When Jacob got the blessing, he came back again and embraced his brother Esau, and they continued being great sons of their father, and they became a great nation. So, I met His Highness yesterday, and he asked me to meet you so that you may give a better information to the people of now regarding me and his blessing upon me. I have not come to disorganize anybody. I have been a loyal subject, and I continue to be a loyal subject to His Highness the Wonyachi and the cultural leadership in Lango. I am here only to implement what he has whispered to me and to partake of the blessings that he has given me. I say that culture and the law work together because they both shape behavior in society. And that is why they're very important. Any process in cultural institution should be guarded carefully because the end result will shape the behavior of the people in the future. If we say that our system is taken up through force, through abuse, through insult and disrespect, we are not going to raise children who respect elders. I am here seated before you because personally, I'm a very humble person who respect elders and take instructions from my elders. I've worked with this gentleman. I've worked with all the prime ministers, including the retired Colonel Tony Otoa. I will never insult them. Even sometimes when they insult me in forums, I don't respond. If some of you are in our forum of elders, you will agree with my position that even when an elder insults me, I will not respond because he's older than me. So I respect and I will continue to respect elders and our people, but I am very firm. My humility, my discipline, my hardworking nature does not take away my assertion or my assertiveness of being a knowledgeable, well-informed, very focused and firm leader. When I choose to enforce something, I let it happen. If you are in discipline and I choose to discipline you, I will do everything until I discipline you. But I will use legally faithful manner in enforcing my process. So, why am I saying this? I started by saying that I have experienced very negative media insult through social media, but I want to thank those who do radio reporting and all that. In most cases, you report facts. But when you come to the social media forums that most of you are subscribed to, you will sympathize with me. Some of the insults I've received from about 6, they're not many. They're just about 6 to 10 few people who want to speak louder than everybody else in Lango. And they're in every forum. When you post something, even if it's a good thing, they will jump and talk negative. And they will make, and their friend will come and add salt, and then the forum becomes so nasty. I watch this with a lot of sympathy for and empathy for my tribe and the future of our people. Unfortunately, as I said, there are a few young people who are actually misled. And I wanted to have this opportunity of meeting you to let you know that, of course, I get hungry. I'm a human being. Because when you insult me, I have nothing to do. In my anger, the Bible says, in your anger, do not sin. So in my anger, I try my best not to sin. And there are many ways of sinning. I would have chosen to sin. But in my anger, I always try to keep myself well restrained and not to sin. Not to mention words, not to curse anybody, and not to respond in a nasty way. But doesn't mean that I don't get hurt. True, I get hurt. And of course, people do it with intent to annoy. If I say they get annoyed, they should be very happy. That actually, it annoys me. So I'm saying that I cry for my nation, Lango. Lango is a nation. I cry for my people, Lango. And I want you, people of goodwill, members of the press who are professional, who are looking into the future. I started walking this walk with some of you when I was young, and some of you were my followers. as a young politician. And you were excited about what I was and who I was at the time. And I still believe you do. Because among you here before me are people like my brother Dennis Olakoper and my brother here. You all love me. And you know who I am. You know where my heart is. I don't bribe, but I share what I have from a generous heart. I don't buy people off, but I love you. And I walk with you in love. When I have it and we share together. I will never buy anybody. And if there is anybody fearing that Bangukula has now come to buy all members of the press, it's a lie. It will never happen. Human being cannot be bought. You are men and women of integrity. You are trained and you are looking into the future with a lot of ambition. You want to grow in your profession. You want to see a future when you can look back and say, this is where I came from and this is where I am today. And the only way you can get there is to have your path very clean. And I know you all desire that. So I wanted to take this opportunity, not to talk about process and all this that my colleagues have already talked about, but to focus on who is Dickson Ogwangokulu and what is his heart and what does he feel. How does he look like? When you touch him, how do you feel? So I just thought I should use this time to interact with you and to open my mind and my heart to you, that feel free to contact me when you are not sure about anything about me. I will be very free to talk to you about it. I have lived in this community. I've married in this community. I have children in this community. And these children are all over the world. They are informed, they are exposed, they have knowledge in social media. They read what you post. And it will hurt me to see my own children reading me responding in ways that are not consistent with the way I talk to them at home. So I sometimes don't respond because I don't want my children to come and follow the same post and see Daddy also said this, okay? Because I'm trying to mentor and raise them. I'm a mentor. So this is all I can say about this press media briefing of today. I want also to clarify that some of you have been told that this press briefing has been motivated by some of the meeting that took place on Sunday by our colleague and our brother. This is not true. This is a press briefing and it's formal. We take responsibility for what we are saying here. So when I want to have another interaction with you on my shorts and my t-shirts, I will call you home and we'll roast a bull or a goat. And that will be another environment. It will be informal. I will not want to see any of you with a pen, with a book. We shall just have interaction when I invite you to my home. But this is a formal press briefing instituted by His Highness the Wonyachi, whom I met yesterday. I can show you in pictures. Is very well. All I can again tell you as I conclude is that His Highness the Wonyachi is well. Is well. And is in good health. During the time of election of March, he was not well. He was actually hospitalized. But right now, he's well. He has recovered and is attending our next meeting that is going to take place here. It's unfortunate our institution, our center, has been hijacked and we have been locked out of it, but it's our place. I hope and pray that government comes to our rescue and take us back to our place. But while that place is still hijacked, we'll keep meeting here. And I want to thank the management of Palm Garden, whose member is also a clan leader, and is with us. Our brother Frederick Ogwaloye, the senior advisor to His Highness the Wonyachi. Thank you for offering us this shade where we can sit and meet and share views. So thank you for coming. We are open for questions, but please don't insult any of us. Don't insult the other side as well. We have not called you here to coach you. We have not called you here to coach you out to fight for us. No, we don't need you to fight for us. We are on the right side of the law. Just tell the truth about what we are doing. Tell the truth about what we are doing. We are not inciting you against anybody. And this position I share with my colleagues. You have heard me on radio live. I have chosen in my life, the many years I've been a leader from school, not to insult people, but to be firm on the truth The motto of my school, Dr. Bode College, fear not the truth. But when I was a student leader there, I added more words and captions on that. I said, fear not the truth, but fear itself. If fear grips you, then you're in danger. Defend the truth, and the truth shall remain the truth. And that's why I want you to stick on that, on truthfulness, honesty, with integrity.
My message to them about the legalities that surrounded the election of 1st March is that, as our anthem says, we, the Owitong, or the clan leaders, we are supposed to be the torch bearers. We're supposed to show and teach the people of Lango what good culture is. Premise on the foundations and values of mutual respect, rule of law, democracy, transparency, and accountability. So I am appealing to our brothers who are there, just in case they had forgotten that they are also legal custodians of the law, of the cultural law governing the people of Lango. They should revisit their law books, the constitution of their clans, the Institution of Traditional and Cultural Leaders Act, the Lango Cultural Foundation law of 2017. And then they should do a soul searching. They should really sit, or possibly lie down, and meditate and ruminate over these issues. If we set a bad precedent now, a precedent that will forever be referred to, that on 1st March 2024, a group of Owitong overthrew the constitution, and then they did things that were unlawful, and then they still got away with it, and somebody would want to hang on that precedent, then Lango is dead. We shouldn't allow that to happen. That is my message to them. We love them, we respect them, we don't have any personal vendetta or anything negative that makes us think that they are our enemies. No, they are not our enemies. They are our brothers. And I wait for the day we are going to work together. Thank you.
Dan winya be kedi chao ken dong ti jomo ken mo choy le mona me kopi le lao te kapitwere eno mi chao ken yoti wa chao ken me kopi le mono da te kopa be cha moro er pe gen wa kopi le lao amio wingio ngana pedo ni abera tin lao nyale lao don lao nyomi lao ti tinu langi ameti Uganda keneno ken dia kabera opat iwilo enarie kada kwando ti kwano ko tie ena potia kwandang tie atiu ilo me Uganda ni pigamente be Uganda be mo rapierre degdom akwano kwan atun de level me PhD me pot partie ko atiu itek pigmete kwaro ma chela chalo ngata me chunye mi roka dongo pachu achala ponya binu ponyo otela mete kwaro kirmete ku kop nyoni ruchu metimeri yot metimeri kin pachu iyora be Pianuti German, one on the right side of the law. And public charm, public side of the Pachi. One of these side the Chikiku come. When Yaji put equal, and I voluntarily go near me to Ekoti. Roman Loco, we got to put down for a bed. Not that remove it. And chick pay yeda. Abdication is not a force. Abdication, obero, voluntary stepping aside of a reigning cultural leader. Ame otamoni endo e olo ko nyuma kamedo petia be eta me wek tichuko enate kwayo dan techo yubali come. Dong bala me yo chambino cho me ko boni we koti. Pe o dia enno cho. Da dokti twer me ko boni okay ruchu dong potie pe ya. Podo ha me dobedo da ro me donino. So en podo atela mete kwar me law ame gamente ngeo dan gamente woro. Dan atela better chill at a time. Better chill at a time. Better duplication. so jo ame mane chana me rik dong chon gin ngi rik dong obedo tena me te kwaro bala jo re obedo won nyachi me opposition chani ame chi kupe te kwaro pe bedo ke opposition bedo ka defiant o ding wit jero jemo ame tia jemo ko ke tela adana me o yero ka yini bir ngame jeme ngata me o yero yini ye chana ikomi ana bina kobo dano yo tin boru doxe ni ana bina kobo ni ka o minna ko be na ka ko na radio ka o minda engineer Yosham engineer Moses Odu o don kune amitu kuji ko mere a chalo dano kwa kisha ko bor Yosham put pe yuto bien gino be o kana tek I wadgi ya kina gina riono wadgi pe obeda be na ka chani dan kop gi morti na ka kot wota Yosham o tia pidde kop gi no meme yo kuj beri kwa woba yot tama obedo o minda don kune en miro kwa kisha boro jeni ame puju to kao jinde toho ana ko ni culture has got both a spiritual and a legal aspect of it ame ginduti enforceable jeme culture mo enforcing it tie jeme culture mo enforcing through spiritual impartation in tie ame chunyo kenne chadang pedang ok chwala ko mi gindong ti automatic kai ko ni spirit pe no mi wan po bet kan pen wan ngi ni spirit tie da mi wan woro te kwara me otike de luoro ka wot boro bo judi yin pe ngi ngwa me ba mi eno te tunu ko kanenti yin bala no wa yiko papa ruma nyim liel me paro papa ruma nyim puda no te woro to no te woro del body no te woro the spirit of my father that lives till tomorrow ana woro joadon jome omio joadon go winyu no poper chen no kirichao ni ba is a spirit that has been imputed on you so that spirit works now if that spirit has been imputed wrongly for a wrong purpose it ipero so an kwa chatini ominna cha miru wodan kwa kisha ko me gonyeo ka gonyo ko mera bera yot ko itino meda bera yot anyi meda bera be donc chi chekere no ana believing in culture is both a legal and a spiritual matter ame mir wan war on the spiritual issues omi ko ni dang jo ame do ilaw kan wan ko ni mir jo ko teggu dong ilo bo ken gen kom kerna atin era tin no ker cha ngoni the spirit of the father is still nurturing him pe aberu kene in pe tamatin balo yogere ko kere ma dekcha o kere mo tata mena yati atela no the spirits of the ancestors nutia wakatincha nang nutia hovering within the palace throughout so kai ti tamoni ginete kwar wandu timuni be ticheti ni tino wata mnia chala tinna me odon do lao kan na medan oneno te kwara pape ke to te dushu ana neno na to yula ya anena wiruma anena kayu chogo wano minu be di widia na kadiang to aneno tichete kwara no aneno ariamo na kachinera amote to yelao ke te loro pobo da te to dude bien te kono yene te kwaro ate bi man not ke don nino igwara ke kon lao why did we do all that thing te kwaro tie is a spiritual thing so ginna wano bini yini po beru gimetu anu permit to get a copy ba anu pora mi do beru MP kole da anu pora mi do beru vice chairman northern Uganda now no pora make atwere chingora ben minister new prime minister to take that don't ginno ko top no don't socket we be do pay all the ambition ado ana beru kere me we be do ko which is not an easy thing for Gwangokul to take ame wunda ngeun do yeni ana yepingo ayepi ana nyoni this thing has got a spiritual aspect icha ana woro pa chukucha kada me do ko bicha me jom woro kera indikan nyaka Yosham chana tuni diuka le ni ndia dek me do ma bichel o pied diuka le ko be bor ko apab ya cha pare wo ko gwantie wotu kultie ningo doko buru next day dok the same thing joy bay de poenya andu pangi ngolu ngaye de ko ba biro penyi ko ni te penyi pe wunya ba to bo no en kopte tunda kichawa ndo tiyeni. So the issue of culture obedo ginameti both spiritual and legal. Mano obedo giname poti ana contention. Okay? Gazette na ameya kina gazette arioni enameti correct. Obedo me nindo para bongwen me de mangwen imwa tutumi ario piero wangwen monu wano ye gajeto kadbir era stida ye nindo para bongwen. It was on the 19th of April. Volume CXV 11 number 28, General Notice number 724 of 2004. That gazette, new notice, ni wonyaki binwe kotich. Idema para rio, inodema para chel. Is not a firm gazette, is a notice which is subject to what happened between now and then. And that notice is not based on the parliament one yacho ikome, the ministry, ni ende holoko, government ye emitwe kutich. Now, response agamente ibala one yachi no is what happened on the 19th of April 2024. Now, based on that notice, a vacancy gets created. A vacancy no gets created. Before that, there was no vacancy. There was no vacancy. And no agamo kono koda ngi ename miu election na mao yobo ni ndo chelsea ndo papier lecture ni ndo decade ndo chelsea ndo ma lecture is null and void, is useless. There no vacancy pay. You cannot conduct an election in an office which is not vacant. Vacancy was created by the announcement, by the notice. So between now and the anything can happen. Election should take place. The reason of me election will be taking place in the parashel. When you know community, anyway, these are things I made me within young details. Many people don't want to prime ministers. O community, miru year in the shell, made the parashel, or take Kunga to Yerko, because check coming at a year within 30 days. Now, within 30 days. Now, in December, handover takes place. That's the rationale for the timeline. So, Gazette, when gives notice. Now, then the subsequent Gazette is given in error. Subsequent Gazette, para. Upon your count of the Demar Bichel and your Demar. Okay, Demar Bichel. Medema Bichel. This was in a parang Medema Bichel, Mono is the wrong one. Adang won not to chop about Uganda Gazette. Tell me the duty to chill. Miracle be left now, Madame Abera, we need to win your local press. Not more chop about Uganda Gazette, maybe your Gazette to be published. Tell me the duty to chill. Then is now attention. The government is now paying attention to interest according to know in Ameta Timel.
Ahmed, look at it. Ka minister, in this case, Minister Majanda, or gazetting engineer Dr. Michael Donkuni. Kitamoti Merekaduma Bishel. Peterene Mono Dong, the final. A better could better bag it. Kau Kone Kim Weguru. Anya Mojasinta Mara, Nunda Pa, Medima Pa, 2024. Peter Neo Laha, Pio, Mo. Peter could be Dahame King, Wegula Yomono, no Dahana Bina Yomoko. Kala Pero Mono. It means ne, Joabeng your chick can sit. Now again, Jobanisha. One win you is it true ni dahoni Jacinta ni belong to Jario? Kada oni kim we guru go kona ponget. Look when you party. What will gonna be? So in the interim, So many things can happen, but minister can do the right thing. But it is alerting us. That minister cannot educate you. This is what you must do. You are expected to be literate in the law. So let nobody be deceived. Because therefore is sacrosanct. No. He's still very gullible. And also, by the way, take notice that this thing is in court. Odon Kune is still very gullible. What?
Matthew, I don't get the gazette. You not a new tea launch. I tell you some do no consent. Yes. Prime Minister, I'm a new teach or Waraga. The speaker, my council, so Waranga at the Teddy, here I'm a bed in where children my deck, work a car, and you some do be speaker. O yenkede. Pinkina member tima monumo, Daram swing government about. Seriously. You some wrong article be. This was illegal. I don't they were tasking government may interpret in cheek. There's a Council Leaders Act. Komijama need match here, the must be a vacancy. Was it there? Mario, the vacancy must be gazetted. Which gazette? Go gazetting Paparamene. Not there. 3 election. Was election there? No. PN election put PN, there's still a roadmap, a majority alone. Backers that pay. So this was a fake thing. I mean, one poll work over. I mean, government for Ramadan here. PN legally right. So it was not a gazettement. So Miri roadmap, and we were here, and do vacancy here, Nata year in the child Parana Gazette.
Maybe I can also add something. Which are another organization, maybe the cultural organization, but URSB. URSB dan te granting, bala kita me Uganda Gazette o gazetting kede. Any cha don't complain obinu, tenu nguni culture me actually ngato telo biro achana. Tenu ngachana poti ko organization ati intact. Uganda Gazette Balo it has been deregistered automatically. The deregistered give without even going to court. When we have understood that this was done in error, it is done. So institutions and government in place are led by people who are very sound in mind. Like URSB, Leila Merbero, a lawyer, my OG from Makere University. Uganda Gazette is a very legally well-reputable organization. You don't look in. Let me also say this. One of the year MP every 5 years. How many MPs are okay Gazette? Are dropping from the Gazette? Dear Paula. So being in the Gazette doesn't mean now you are done. No. Just alerting. Just notice. And man is very honest. PN Machiel, kita oko ni yera bon vacancy. Mario wonyashi ametia sitting poti kuodan potie. Even the notice of application comme ni aweko tiki dema para kiel la potun. No so de community you notice amet balobe post dated check. It will be cash in November if it is valid. So not all post dated check get cash. They bounce.
My impression. One of the the minister, Mexenda, Labor and Social Development. At a ministry, but minister make gender, labor and social development. Chakanara one chap process make commit transition. And deciding make Kuberka a faction. Make Kuberka official recognized institution, Melan Cultural Foundation. I make a name Warga and Oberu Hioyo. But electoral commission, I may want Yashi Melan or Chemotarium Moko. At a faction no don't know to get ticket. minister beta moy be kuber kere jona ja dan minister beta moy eneme o misleading faction do kune memme yogi ngeyo ne geno ti recognize memme yogi ngeyo ne gen o twero ti mo ginoro ken including riemo penchik mela ka chu foundation ne ka ta yiko yera abon chik en gina mio wandu koni apoka ti kina la cultural foundation kere la cultural institution tiene la cultural institution o yobo yera ge abon chik ero la cultural foundation tia yobo yera ge kunchung ipenchik gi me la cultural foundation kere roadmap ame won nyasi o katukere donc bal nyo peha me docteur donc kono don yekere groupe pere o beru peha me o ya advice ame minister me gender labor and social development better mo o miyogi kun anna mining leadership ayusha moduri be ame do beri lao kan pimwaki aramo pierario wiade ame gamente ngeo dula po parte ame pejer kom abumente uberu kuber kere karalaj apoyo o jola penyo kana
tama chel ke kenni chike 2017 cho for 2 years 2017 mir do nyuko dang te do nyuko chike nu ko bani me achien amiyo te ko bodu nya se me loy te kwa pe nu ko ni ka dungu cho ti o yera be ti ye pe ka te do nyi bot engineer te dute te bero ni ka du waro cho chi ko gazeti te cha ko wo ko ya wandu ngama ori ko ni kai di mo hange mo gari yo du yerbe tie ko ni ngo te do ko tutuncha ento one a charo la ko foundation o te mo kelle i round table kun involving religious leaders elders melang jo tu pol a pol ko ero bini nyim jo ko e kerida do cha me do karme ado ya cha unugu me da do pe pien nu do jo tu peti chwa tamani eri kar do ana ya ko atene ne do cha ko nyigu do mala cha ko do ngecho chi kere jama popola polo ti cha ti me nge ame do an pange eti kar me ana teacher wano kele i round table religious leaders elders and what pepino kwerko ando bero unyasho ko pedo haru so en giru timeren ero ke kene no peti ligo an pa wor pe no baka si pot pe gazette po yo gazette in position ana chala anelda ngata dit ko o da what en wala digra ko pe ka tu nyi na be mito e ke mario ya titele wana chala la ko foundation pe gero me wan ti mara pe meto dan wana ko ni kare jo piere rio no na meto chu you bin wan kumpe ti gengore ko mai witongo ma bin pien wano ya to wot bot jowa ti tedero wano ko wano ti na pa ti nyimuni ni tam wati mi ti yer ana mi ti yer pien gini ambasa danga bot jo gin la no to yero dang tenga to la yeri tap wan do you go ping roop to woro ko me wat ku du gina.
Now,
So
the legal aspect for that very good question is a good observation. Man, you need to be very keen on observing what is happening and what can prevent us from going forward. Section 6, chapter 6, section 3 of the, section 6 of chapter 3 of the Lango Foundation Constitution, 2017, gives us a very good provision in an event where Speaker Pay, Deputy Medang Pay, we cannot be stuck because there is provision of the law. In the absence of the Speaker and his deputy, because Speaker Beruka Speaker, Deputy Nankati Ono Berukum Speaker. So in the absence of the Speaker, the Prime Minister shall assume the responsibility of the Speaker. In this case, this notice has been given out. The Prime Minister, the Speaker will be informed. Has already been informed, of course, in that letter. But in that letter also, you see the Prime Minister has also been copied in the letter. Which means the Prime Minister Paul Prime Minister Pete Speaker Pete Binu automatically the speaker will, the prime minister will take up responsibility and we'll move forward. About quorum, I think that one, let's cross the bridge when we get there. All the major clans of Lango are here with us. And these major clans are coming with their delegations for the General Assembly. And we are not going to mind about small factions of clans that must room and went to Donkune because they have been there. That number has swollen because one thing I'm here to all these 12 years, Donkune has been enthroning Witong. This is not a lie. It's in open. Has been enthroning Witong in our can everywhere. Tell me your number Witong Birunya, Pola. Ana Pim Kirumina, Kalanyo Mina, and your Tura Yosha Bikunga, and Daka Pokeri Jokena Wukone. This is unacceptable and it's not going to continue. So Ginomio Namatin and this swollen is because of that faction.
Do you know we had 33 Witong mobile meeting one here? Out of the 44, I know one Ungioni Peo water bolo quilcha. And right now I can tell you, as we keep talking, as we keep me you ngej ramalang, Tijo ame woro kuche bolo quilcha, very undecided. Now, you know, in the process of deliverance and healing. The next meeting we are going to hold, don't be surprised. So, quorum is not a problem. But also, for us, the council meeting, we are going to consider quorum because that's what the law says. But other issues, I'm a of council. Other issues, I'm a resisting impunity. One paro majority. Kada we don't can resist. This is what is possible.